Right. Killi, ASX-listed junior exploration company with copper gold projects in Western Australia and Queensland. A very good market, capitalised structure, 140 million shares on issue, 65% of them held by the top 20, cash, enough to do the value-adding exploration we have ahead of us. And yeah, so it's nice and tight and clean company. We listed in 2022. Our flagship asset was the West Tanami project in Western Australia. It's what the company was named after, the Killi beds in the Tanami, a geological formation, if you're wondering. We had some early success at that project, and it really attracted the eyes of some of the majors. And in that, Goldfields come in, they've taken a placement in us, they own 11% of us, and they're earning in on our West Tanami project. It's a big project, 75 kilometres long, 45 kilometres at its widest. Some of the early Killi results, they generated a 4.5 kilometre copper gold soil anomaly, and on top of that they had 12 grams per tonne rock chips, plus 7% rock chips and things like that for copper. There's two major trends that cut through it, so it is a tier 1 exploration asset, and of course Goldfields recognise this. They're flying, signed the agreement back in May last year, and they started their exploration in November in a big way. They've done geophysics over the whole project area, hope to get into do on ground and doing soil sampling pretty fast on a number of targets, and we hope to be able to update the market on that project pretty soon. But what it's done, it's really left us without a flagship project, so we've given us time and money, I guess, to bring on some of our second-tier projects, the Queensland copper-gold projects. Of those, it's Mount Rawdon that's at this early stage put its foot forward as something that's worth chasing in a big way. So, what's happening? Oh, here we go. Right, great location, southeast Queensland. Mines close by would be Mount Morgan, Gympie, Cracow, Mount Rawdon, of course. A lot of this area was explored back in the gold rush days, the late 1860s and 1870s, so it's had a fair bit of activity over the years. Our project itself, it's again another big project. It's 30 kilometres long by about 10 kilometres average. It's in the tier 1 jurisdiction, being Queensland, of course, and it's on trend from a major deposit being Mount Rawdon. If we go in, and this is the project over the top of an aeromagnetic image, you can see the major mineralised trends we talked about, the Mount Rawdon trend heading north, and also the parallel Mount Perry trend going up to Nicho's Reward, and then the Nicho's Reward trend cutting right across the project. So it is a great location structurally, geologically. There's lots of indications of small-scale mineralisation on the project from turn-of-the-century workings for copper, gold, silver and moly as well. So it's just amazing where this project sits, that there's never been a drill hole into it. So, you know, you've got Mount Perry that was discovered in 1869, and so there's a lot of activity in that area. I mean, it did take them 75 to 80 years to find Mount Rawdon, which is amazing. It's sticking out of the ground, it's a hill, it's mineralised. So this ground does give up its secrets fairly slowly. Killi generated 2 prospects at a very early stage, just focusing on where the old workings were, and one of them being Balfour and Carr, and I'll take you through those prospects. So this is aeromagnetic image again, grayscale, and on top of it I'm going to put the geochemical anomalies from the soil sampling. That's strontium over yttrium, and that's interesting because if you look at big porphyry copper deposits around the world, they have an affinity for magmas which have high strontium yttrium ratios. So we've got that there sitting in there. We don't see this intrusion in the magnetics, it's in the magnetic halo. We don't see it on the ground as a different granite or intrusion of any kind, but it's a real thing, it's there. And it may be part of I guess a larger intrusion, or it could be part of an intrusion, a separate intrusion itself. You can see that ring-like structure. That's not working. Anyway, you can see that the greater ring-like structure there going around. There's not a light on this. Oh, thanks for telling me. Yeah, so, but it is a real thing, and it stands out quite distinctly. If you put, that's moly, molly going around the intrusion. So this is not unusual. There's a couple of little molly mines, old molly mines in the area. We've got this barren granite stock coming up, and the altered rock around carries molly mineralisation. But it's good to see. It means it's also a mineralised intrusion, which the science tells us it should be. Put over that copper. That's the copper is coincident with the molly and the intrusion. Now again, we don't know yet if that's part of the early phase with the molly or it's a later overprinting thing, but our guess is it's associated with the early molly mineralisation. That's huge. That's 4 kilometres long. And if you look at Mount Rawdon geochemical footprint, if you look at Mount Morgan's geochemical footprint, this is much larger than those. So it's quite a substantial feature we're looking at, and it's quite exciting geologically, and we hope that it develops into something quite major. That's gold. The complexity is gold is we know we've had a number of different events of gold mineralisation here. What we're looking at below is the subvolcanic deeper style of mineralisation. You don't get quartz veins. It's disseminated mineralisation predominantly. But we also know from the Nichols reward trend up through the northeast there that you get a lot of gold veining. Okay, but so we think we've got two. We don't see a lot of quartz veining on Baloo, but it could be there. It's quite rugged country in places there. We haven't drilled this prospect yet, and it's definitely calling out for a drill hole. We have done IP geophysics over it, and end of last year we said we've done this geophysics and we'll report on it. We haven't said a lot about it, and I'll just show you a cross section through the geophysical survey. It's quite spectacular. That's an IP chargeability anomaly, and IP is very good at picking up disseminated sulfides. The highs can be disseminated sulfide bodies. So we've got a number of these in our survey. This is a big one. It's without doubt a priority drill target. Our issues with this project is we don't know this is the best drill target on the project. We're very frugal with our money. It'll cost us $300,000 plus to drill this, and we're just considering now where we should drill, and that's because of other exploration results. So I'll take you through Carr. Carr we drilled at the end of last year. It's a 1.8 kilometre soil anomaly, multiple rock chip samples. You can see those rock chip numbers there, 238 grams per tonne gold. That's 7 or 8 ounces per tonne of gold, plus 5% copper, and almost a kilo of silver per tonne. So these are spectacular results. This project really snuck ahead of Baloo, despite the size of Baloo, just on the tenor of those rock chips alone. We drilled it. We did geophysics over it, we drilled it, the results disappointed the market, and that's where we've ended up at the end of last year. So we hit narrow mineralisation, but we've taken a lot of learnings from this drilling. And a couple of those are, one, it's an intense shear zone, intense alteration, it's quite broad. There's multiple zones in it, but it's up to 50 metres wide on surface. So this is a big system, it's highly mineralised. We drilled a few widely spaced holes on it, and we didn't hit the mother lode, but it's quite good. The most important thing we got out of this was the intensity of the alteration mineralisation is actually increasing to the southeast. And if you stand back and you have a look, well, we know we can't tie this style of mineralisation to Baloo, but it's heading into nowhere. That's the direction we're talking about. That's the limit of our exploration to date on this project, just that white polygon going around. That's where we've done our soil sampling, our mapping, and it's a very small portion of a greater project. And we know there's copper and gold and molly mineralisation outside of the areas we're looking, just by the government identification of prospects and workings and things like that. If we have a look at this now in a bit more detail, this is again grey scale magnetics in the background, the geochem over it. There's a circular feature out there where the car's pointing to that we didn't know about before the drilling, we didn't go looking for, and it's got this radial pattern of fractures coming out of it. On those fractures, a lot of the government identified workings are sitting, and we know that there's mineralisation associated with these fractures. One of those cut straight through Carr. So that's where we've ended up now. We've been, since the start of the year, trying to get to sample this project. It's a new area, new stakeholders, new landowners, new access agreements. Plus we had the big wet at the start of the year, so it's been pushed out a bit, more than we like, but we're still sitting there with the drill program waiting to go at Baloo. We just finished the soil sampling there, about 162 soil samples over that King Louis area up to the north, and we've done about 39 stream sediment samples as, I guess, first pass reconnaissance sampling down to the south here. There. We know we're going to get results. The landowners are telling us just to the north of where we're doing that sampling, they're panning gold in their backyards and the creeks in their backyards. So we know this whole area is mineralised, and we're starting to look at it. I guess a system That's not simple. Now, we've got the blue soil mineralisation, which could have 2 to 4 episodes of, or 2 to 4 mineralising events overprinting each other. Then we've got the King Louis fracturing system. We don't think that intrusion comes to the surface. It may, but we don't think it does. And that's very interesting as well. And we've got these incredible high grades in our rock chips. So it's worth putting a lot of science into, which we have done. We've had a lot of Queensland's best look at it. We're very excited about this project. We can't wait to put a drill hole into somewhere. I think it's going to be below because it's compelling, but we don't know what the soil sampling is going to return for us. At a minimum, I think it means we have to go back. The soil sampling spacing's 400 by 200, so we may have to go back and do more infill, but it's work that we're looking forward to. And what this project's going to benefit from is boots on the ground, and it hasn't had it yet. So we're engaging more people at the moment. Those people are out there walking around, talking to the locals, but also cracking rocks. So that's really the work program going forward. Get the geochem back, that'll be next month or July, it's pretty close. We're expecting those announced that, but also finish the targeting at Baloo. We've got X marks the spot in 3 dimensions. We've just got to work out where we put the drill rig on the surface to best test these targets, and that's happening at the moment. So we expect to have a pretty busy Q3 and 4 this year. There's no doubt that the company's share price has pulled back from Christmas, perceived lack of activity, the nature of stop-start exploration in a new project area. Right, well under time, which is good. The company, incredible market structure with only 140 million shares on issue and 65% held by the top 20 loyal shareholders. We have tier 1 exploration projects in, without a doubt, with West Tanami. We're technically advancing and understanding what we've got at Baloo quite diligently, and we're frugal with where we put our money. So we want the next drill hole to have impact. We want activity on the ground. It doesn't necessarily have to be drilling because we're still understanding this project, but it's got an incredible tenor of mineralisation. It's quite exciting, and we haven't even got to Ravenswood up to the north yet, but some of the people here have told me that they value Ravenswood over Mount Rawdon West, and I can't disagree because I've only just started. It's only been a couple of weeks I've taken the job. I've known the company for a long time, know the people, but yeah, we're quite impressed with this project. So thank you very much.